18 years old, Colin, 18 years old, and that happens. I mean, you actually heard it, didn't you? You heard the explosion?
I saw it from about half a mile away. I was driving north on the A74 just towards the Queen's Hotel at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, in those days, there's no internet, there's nothing like that, there's no mobile phones, really. It was in its infancy. So it must have been very difficult for all of you to coordinate what was happening, to try and find out what was going on.
The first hour, particularly the first half hour, was really confusing.
I remember thinking it was like, because we were there very, very early on, and I just remember thinking it wasn't real. It was like a battlefield, and it was almost like a movie set.
Yeah.
And I think that's how a lot of people kind of coped with it.
Army trucks, satellite dishes, and it did feel very unreal.
And I remember they made the town hall into a sort of, unfortunately, a mortuary. You yourself, you found a little kid that you thought was just sleeping.
So, yes, I was on the Bridge Street side of the town hall guarding a door there between 10 and midnight or thereabouts, and a farmer drew up with a pickup truck. And the farmer had been from Haldyke's farm to the east of the town, and he'd found a number of bodies and pieces of debris, and he'd instinctively decided to pick them up and bring them in because he felt the police would need them. And he offloaded the debris from the pickup truck, and in the corner of my eye I saw this young child in the passenger seat. And initially I thought it was maybe his family, someone he had needed to babysit. But it turned out it was a young passenger he'd decided to bring in, and it was quite a shocking moment. And that young child, I subsequently found out, was young Bryony Owen from South Wales. And she was only 20 months old and the first passenger to come into the town hall. Jeez.
You know, I mean, I know that you found out it was Bryony. We got a letter from Veronica, who's Bryony's auntie, and she wanted to thank you. She just says, Colin, first I'd like to start by saying how thankful I am towards you and the many people of Lockerbie and more on that dreadful day. To know that Bryony was looked after with dignity and compassion is massive to me as her auntie. And she says, I know the memories of that day will never fade, but what you did at such a young age, I mean, you were only 18 years old, is beyond belief and will always stay with me. And I know that both of you felt such bonds with the people, you know, over the years. You know, you've come to know a lot of the victims' families, which is why you decided to do the cycle race. I mean, what was the whole sort of idea behind it, do you think?
Well, I mean, it was Colin's idea, and it was a wonderful idea to commemorate the anniversary, but give some good back to it, because, as we all know, it was a tragic, tragic thing. But, you know, to go and finish the journey for the especially the 35 Syracuse University students. And we went and we met so many families, it was just incredible.
So you finished that journey that they obviously weren't able to do?
That's what we wanted to do, was to complete that.
Absolutely remarkable.
The flight finished in Lockerbie, and, you know, we wanted to carry that journey on today and involve the community in Lockerbie and take that to Syracuse University. We've done a marvellous job in keeping the memory alive and making a positive out of what was a terrible event.
It's an amazing thing to do, because it does bring some light out of what was an incredibly, unbelievably dark time. And there's another link as well, because your children, your two kids, have gone to that university where so many of the victims were from.
So I was 18 when the crash happened, and my two children, Claire and Andrew, this year, were both 18 when they had the opportunity to go to Syracuse. And I felt it was important that they understood what happened for them to get that opportunity. And I'm grateful to the families who looked after them in the US, and really that's where the cycle was born. I wanted to say thanks to many of those relatives who looked after them over there. But the wonderful thing was we got the children in Lockerbie involved. We got them to cycle a virtual mile round the school. There was 12 primary schools involved, and Heavy and myself went round the schools, and we were able to tell children as young as 4 that this was their future as much as the past, because they have the opportunity to go to Syracuse just as my children had done.
To New York. That's amazing, isn't it?
And that was a highlight. You know, travelling down, I mean, I spent a day, I did 3 schools. I mean, the rest, the team did far more, but that was quite amazing, because I thought, this is difficult to be telling the children about this, but it is part of the history. Yet the kids were amazing. They knew the stories, because their aunties and grannies and had all been involved in it. And one of the reasons that I came as a kind of outsider, because the love and care we got at Lockerbie was amazing.
And are you two okay? Because back then, you know, you didn't get counselling.
No.
You didn't get help in that sense. And I'm sure, I know, that those images stay with you forever.
for me, there was a culture in Lockerbie about not talking about it, and that was the culture generally then, but mental health has moved on from then, and we've since learned to say something about how you feel.
For some reason, I said we're going to need some psychiatric help here.
Yeah.
But that was a battle.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm not trying to be... We had to fight, but it's now accepted that there is such a thing, which is people have learned from...
They've learned from events.
From us, and that's the way it should be.
You're absolutely right. I think you're remarkable, both of you, what you've done. I just always remember, and all the things that you try to shut out an awful lot of these images, but I always remember people taking their decorations down.
Yeah, Christmas didn't happen, and the town really struggled with Christmas for many years afterwards, really.